Hi, I'm Nick Shell, and you're watching this video because I assume you've just watched me perform my newest song called What If This Is All There Is? And if you haven't seen me perform that song, you can click a link below, which will take you to that video that I just finished recording in real time. So this song, I would say, has been in the works for years. And if any song would win the award for taking the longest amount of time to write, it would be this song, because it was in my head for years. And even when I got it on paper, I'd say it was last December when I finally put it on paper for the first time. But it was a couple weeks ago that I really finally got to the end of the song and said simply what I want to say. Because it's a big idea, it's a simple idea, it's something that I think everyone asks themselves, but yet we don't say out loud very often. So this song is called What If This Is All There Is? Here are the lyrics to it, because that's what these videos are. It's me explaining what inspired me to write each song. So here we go. What if this is all there is? What if this is all we've got? What if we just cease to exist? What if this isn't what we thought? So what I wanted to do is, and I guess the word would be deconstruct the idea of what reality is. Instead of carrying this idea, as I always have, and I still will continue to do, that I believe that there is life after this. I believe in the Bible. I believe in Christianity. All these beliefs that I've carried with me. But what if I'm wrong? And what if that doesn't happen after I die? And what if all I actually have is what I experience in this life before I die? So I wanted to explore that idea. So here's the chorus of the song. Who else can I ask? Who has answers to the questions I have? No one really knows for sure. How did this begin? How does this thing end? Are we living in a cosmic accident? And what inspired that chorus there is, I'm 43 years old. I'm at a point now where there's really nobody else I can really ask to get answers about life. When you're this old, when you're this far in life, you realize that the questions you actually have, everyone comes to the same conclusion at this point, and that's no one really knows. You make a decision and you live your life accordingly, but no one can know. We can believe and we can have faith and hope, but we can't know. And coming to that conclusion is part of the experience. When you're a kid, you can ask answers and get answers about a lot of things, but at a certain point, you can't really get answers anymore, other than what you choose to believe for yourself. The second verse, what if we created God to give us hope through empty chaos? And I think that's a relevant question. I don't believe we created God, but I do think it's interesting that if there was no God and we were, as I say later on, a cosmic accident, that's what all this was, it's interesting to me that instinctively, most people on the planet have this instinct to believe in God. And to believe in God means to have this moral code to please God and to get along with those around us. I think that's interesting. To be on this planet in existence, we naturally think, well, there has to be a God. This can't come from nowhere. So that's interesting to me. But somehow, what if there wasn't a God? And what if we created this concept of him to get us through this empty chaos? I think it's an interesting question. Again, I'm not saying that's what I believe, that there is no God. I'm saying even without the concept of God, it seems like we still create God anyway in our minds. God exists either way. That's what I'm saying. I said, without fear of hell or reward of heaven, would the way we live be any different? And I think that's very relevant too. Now granted, there are people in the world, there are nations in the world that largely do not identify as religious. And it's not necessarily meaning that, everyone's constantly killing each other in these nations. Now, what I would say is, it seems that some of these nations that identify as non-religious, I have seen a pattern in which they may seem to be the most suicidal. I have seen that. That's just something I've observed. Not necessarily saying that's definitely the truth, but that's a pattern that I've seen. The last verse. What if all we have is this life, to spend time with those who we would miss? What would I change? What would I say? What if this is all there is? And I think that's a very relevant question and ultimately a very relevant conclusion to asking these questions. Because what I'm saying is, yes, I believe that in heaven after this, for those who believe in Christ. I believe everything Christianity teaches in the Bible, okay? But if I was wrong, and this is all an illusion, whatever, or I choose the wrong religion or whatever it is, what's the takeaway here? What's the call to action? And I would say the call to action is, if there was nothing else after this life, how would I live my life differently with the people that I actually care about and that care about me? Because I'm one of about 8 billion people, and most of them have never heard of me and never will. But there are a certain number of people in my life that I do care about, they care about for me, I show up for them and they show up for me. So, how could I be more present ultimately? How can I be more involved? How can I be more helpful? How can I be more available? And not just the people who are close to me, but also, what about the people who I know and they know me, and I could be of better service to them? There are words I haven't said to them yet that I need to. There is a reason on my part to reach out to that person and catch up with them and spend time with them. These are things I think about, because if we die and that's it, and just like before we were born, we have no consciousness, if it just goes black and I no longer have any thoughts at all, and I have no way to remember my life and anything, if all I have is what's going on right now, how can I make the most of that? How can I not put it off that, well, eventually one day everything will be perfect in heaven, and then we won't have to worry about stuff. There won't be pain and suffering, and then we'll live in a perfect world, and then I can have a better relationship with people. What if I remove that from the equation for right now, and I just think, how can I make the most of what there is with those people who are in my life? Again, none of this negates my faith or hope in God. It doesn't at all. But I think that's probably where I am in my faith, is that I recognize that even if I were wrong, even if we were all wrong, what are we left with? Well, what if this is all there really is? As I said. And one of the things I can't understand is, okay, why doesn't God make himself real beyond creation and beyond our natural desire to know him? That confuses me. I don't understand that. But again, I think it goes back to this concept of, I want so badly for God to be real. I want so badly for the human experience to be more than just what we have now. I want so badly for there to be this paradise version of what this could have been had there not been the fall of man and all that described in the very beginning of the Bible. I want that so badly. But all I can really do is pour my heart into making it that version of life as the best I can. I would love to know your thoughts. Thanks for watching this video. And again, if you'd like to see me perform the song, click the link below.